Hello, everyone on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Once again, I'm a guy who talks about how to build a good brand, a better brand, and how to find out the right clients, the clients that pay you. Now, you may be from a B2B business, you've run a B2B business, it's maybe startup, maybe a small, medium enterprise. Maybe you're a wealth and investment advisor or a consultant who needs to have people who can pay well, right? This session is going to be extremely useful for you. And I've been there, done that. I've built multiple brands for our clients, for myself, built a very large network. I'm going to be sharing very really practical stuff that I did, and it generated millions of dollars for sales for the clients that we worked, for ourselves, and it's going to be fantastic. So, first things first, let me know in the comments where are you watching me from and what do you do. There are questions that we already have from the community that we run. So I'm going to take those questions on priority, of course. But if you drop your questions in the comments, I'm going to be trying my level best to answer all those questions for you. All right. We're not selling here anything, just tune in and let's jump right into it. In the comments, where are you watching us from and what is it that you do? You run a consulting company? Do you run a small and medium enterprise? Do you run a startup? Do you do B2B, B2C, whatever? And in the meantime, we're going to wait for a couple of more guys to join. Let them give some time. All right. Okay. So first things first, the most important part. What is a better client? I've been asking this question to everyone that have been working for whatever number of years that I've been working, and rarely I find somebody who can define their customers really precisely. So when I ask a question, generally a lot of people say, everybody is my customer, and whoever needs my products, and whoever is willing to pay, answers like that. Now that's a very lazy kind of way of answering the question. What do you need to do in order to get better clients? Where do you find them? How do you interact with them? These three questions are answered based on who you are talking to. And unless who is very clearly defined, you will not be able to answer a question where to find them, and certainly not being able to answer the question how to interact them, how to make them believe that you're the right person who's going to be working with them. So that question is fundamentally absolutely necessary for everything else that you do. Now, I've been asked this question so many times by so many people that, which social media platforms or which internet or offline marketing channels we should be using. Now, the question is ideally everything if we have deep pockets. But if you do not have deep pockets, which is generally the case in a lot of SMEs and startups, when you're running, you're building up, you're starting, and if you're consulting, having a small office, small team, we do not have unlimited funds, right? So you cannot be spending your money on attracting clients or doing marketing or branding and everything all over the place. You have to be very conscious about every dollar or every rupee that you put into the marketing. What is the ROI that is coming back on that investment? And unless that math is right, I've seen people burning out too quickly, running out of money too quickly, getting really frustrated. There's also the problem that this lack of clarity puts you into a whole sort of a very different problem. So what ends up happening that you pick up one platform, you run ads, and the messaging in the ads is something vague, something different. It attracts wrong kind of people. Now, when they enter your funnel, your sales team, or you talk to them, and of course, they have some interest, but they are not at the right stage of taking a decision or buying a product. So what happens is that you talk to them and you ask them, hey, you filled the form, you showed some interest, what we can do, how we can help. Or you pitch your product directly, which most of the cases people do. And then you ask them, hey, no, can you buy it, or when will you be buying it? People say, you know what, we'll think about it, we'll let you know, we'll talk to our partners, we'll do a little bit more research, and then we'll come back to you. Nobody, almost nobody says no. Now, what is happening here is that you as a salesperson, or you as a business owner, is getting into a loop of endless hope. And I call that hoping against the hope. And by the way, hope is not a strategy. So you hope that we have response. So many people have come back and told us that they are going to think about it, meaning they are considering, and they're going to come back to me in a week, 2 weeks' time. So you have told yourself that, okay, there is a potential business coming in, and you're following up, and you're sending them messages, and you're sending emails, and you're not doing anything else, right? Because you're hoping that these customers will pay. You're hoping that something will happen. What happens? Most of them start ghosting you. Some of them say, no, we don't want to go ahead with you, and they have some very vague reasons. But the sales conversion never happens. This endless loop that you've got into now, when you're asked a question, and I understand this because I've spent more than 2 decades in sales, okay, building large sales teams, running large sales companies, selling to Americans, Europeans, Indians, Middle East, everywhere. The question when I ask them founders that what is your problem, and they say, oh, you know what, my sales team is not able to convert. That's what they tell me, because that's what is happening, right? Because so many people, so many prospects are saying that we're going to buy, we're going to, think about it. Why they are not then buying? It is generally the fault of the salespeople. And when you ask salespeople, what's going to happen when you're going to close your quotas, when you're going to close your sales, they tell you, my customers have told me they're going to pay next week, next month, 15 days from now, because that's precisely what is happening. So they're not lying, and you're not lying, and you're not an idiot for thinking and believing what they're saying. But that salesperson is hoping on the words or the hope from the prospects, and you're hoping on the hopes and the prospects of your customers, of your salesperson. Nothing is going to happen. So you think that that is a problem, while that is not the problem. The realistic problem was that these were not the right people to enter your funnel in the first place, because you did not define them very, very clearly. You cannot fix this problem because you don't know what the problem is. So a month goes by, 2 months goes by, 3 months go by, and you don't have any solution. The sales are not coming in, and you're burning the money, right? You're paying for office, you're paying for salaries, you're paying for your ads, and you're paying for everything. The opportunity cost that you're losing in the market is absolutely immense. Your competitor move past and you stuck in that. And that is where most of the businesses that I see run out of the fuel. They run out of cash, they run out of the runway, and they crash, right? This happens with small businesses, this happens with SMEs, this happens with consultants, this happens with fairly large companies, but the large companies generally have a lot of money, so they sail through. What is the solution? How do you fix this entire thing, right? That's a very, very critical thing that you've got to be asking. Now, I have been doing this for a very, very long time, and I'm going to jump into this really quick and tell you exact step by step what exactly do you need to do. And I do have some blueprints also. If you let me know in the DMs or comments, we'll give it to you. No, no problems. We are not charging anything. It's absolutely free of cost. You can use all of that, and you can apply those principles. You can learn from them, and you can grow your business in revenue. You can simply come back and thank me later if this helps you and when this helps you. But before I move into that direction, I also want to touch upon another aspect of it. There is another problem that happens when you attract low paying clients. Okay. So let's continue that first situation that we just talked about. So what happened is that you have this funnel going on. You have a lot of prospects coming in. You have sales conversations happening, responses are happening, follow-ups are happening, and this is hope that is being built. Now, you don't want to give that up. Remember, hope is a very dangerous strategy. It's like that carrot which you have in front of your eyes, and it's like, it's going to convert tomorrow. It's going to convert tomorrow, because the prospect of abandoning this entire thing and going back to a very different thing is scary, because you've invested money, time, resources and your entire energy into this whole thing. So if I say this is not working, you have to let this go, you have to drop this entire thing, and you have to work on a very different strategy. This is very scary. It means sunken cost, dangerous situations. But the situation continues and you are just desperate now. So what is happening now? You start reducing the prices because generally you think that this is the only entry barrier that customers have, right? They're asking for discounts, so you think that if I give them slightly cheaper, they'll come back. You start reducing the price. You start promising the things that are difficult to deliver, almost impossible to deliver. But you think that if I say this, the customer is going to close, the customer is going to convert. So the delivery promise, you make it higher and higher, more difficult for you to deliver. And the money that you are charging, you start giving discounts on that. Now, this becomes a dangerous proposition, and you end up closing some cases because of this proposition. Now, what is happening with this? You're bringing the clients which are paying you less. So you have less money to spend on marketing and sales and delivery and operations and everything. You have very thin margins now. The other problem that you are now getting into is that you're bringing these customers who have very high expectations because A, you said a lot of things now, and two, the people who were very hard negotiating on the prices are generally the people who don't have a lot of money in their pocket to spend. They were also running on very thin margins and they were also desperate because the higher agencies or the the large companies, they were not taking them in. So their desperation to get results from whatever you're promising is very high. They will not be able to give you the time. They will be anxious all the time with you that, okay, you promised, what is happening. And your entire operations team and you personally will be so involved in serving those people. And remember, you don't have money in your pocket to do anything else. And you are not able to hire good people. So what happens is then you are now under pressure. On one hand, you're not getting sales. On the other hand, now you have this long line of customers who are after you all the time. Delivery, service, deadlines, unexpected expectations, the pressure mounts up. And this is a classical situation where I've seen many, many young talented or old talented people crashing and burning. I always say that don't get into this entire thing. Okay, this is a dangerous territory. Let us say you continue this one for 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, and tell me in the comments if you've been into this kind of situation for more than 6 months or more than 18 months. Tell me in the comments, and I'll tell you what exactly needs to be done. So what happens in this situation that you're continuing this whole thing and you're kind of stuck because you can't let these customers go and you are not able to think of anything else and anything better. You're not able to invest in people and time and processes, and you're not able to do any other product or any other activities. And that is a classical situation, which I call the self-employment trap or whatever kind of trap, but that's where you are stuck at the moment, right? Now, these customers, even if you deliver good service to them, never they go back on social media, on the internet, and write good things about you. They don't say it because in their mind, they never got what they expected or what in their language, they'll say what you promised. So what is happening? You're acquiring customers, you're not making money, you're giving 15 hours a day, and you're serving all those people, and they're never happy. So they're not giving you the reference parties coming in. And that is not happening. Why? Because these customers don't are not happy. They're not going out, or you're not using their service or the proof of the delivery that you have with them to turn that entire machine into a branding exercise wherein the references are coming in and people are coming in, more customers are coming in because of your brand. That is not happening. So even if you continue on that path for 6 months, 1 year, 18 months, you reach nowhere. You're still just like a beginner who've done good work, worked hard, did not make any money, does not have a brand. That's a trap. So what to do? What to do? Now, I'm going to give you something real quick now. Just tell me in the comments if this is something that you faced, you've seen, and you want to get into a world wherein you have inbound inquiries coming in, or enough good quality leads or good quality inquiries coming in, wherein you are able to accept those clients at your terms. You can charge them what you want to, and you promise what you realistically can deliver within the timeline. And you also believe that once I deliver what I've said, these people are going to be happy. They're going to go out and they're going to appreciate and bring me better customers. That situation. So tell me in the comments if this is a situation that you're in and you want to get out of that and want to find out a way which is better, repeatable, and makes sense business wise for you also. Let me check the comments and then I will go into the next part of the discussion, which is what to do. Okay. Now, just for the people who have just joined us today, like now, what we are talking about today is, oops, and this is off, right, good. So here are the comments. How to understand which client will buy and which client will not. Okay, so there are certain questions. Let me quickly address those questions and then we'll move on to the next part of it. So somebody's asking me on LinkedIn how to understand which client will buy and which client will not. Uh, they will tell you that they're buying. Okay, if they're not giving you any logical reason for what they want to think about and why they want to think, generally it is a sign that they will not buy. Okay, but more important than that, it is you who can decide even before you talk to people, hypothetically, who are the right people that will buy. Okay, so here is a simple thing that you got to do. And this is where the what to do part begins. Okay, the first and the most important question that you should be asking, even before you decide which platform you're going to dominate, what ads you're going to run, how much money, what is the team, and everything else. Everything else comes later. The first and the most important question comes in, and this is very, very useful in the cases of B2B businesses, whether you are a small, large company, startup, or a agency or whatever. This is very important, and it is also very important for the consultants and advisors who sell services like wealth management advisory or consulting or coaching or whatever. The first question, ideal customer profile. You have to write it down. Please take a pen and paper and start writing what I'm talking about. Okay, ideal customer's profile. If it is about individuals and you want somebody who has the money in their pocket, that is the most important thing. Do not sell to people who do not have money in their pocket. It does not matter what problem you're solving. It does not matter how good you are. They simply cannot afford it yet. All right. That's the number one principle, number one law of business. If they don't have money in their pocket, unfortunately, you should not be going after them, and not at least in the beginning. You can do something later on when you're a tech giant, you have a lot of money, but if you're a beginner, please do not get into the kind of situation wherein you're running after people who do not have money in their pocket. You'll not have money, you'll not be able to solve anything. So, first question, they should have money in the pocket. And when I talk about money in the pocket, you should be understanding I'm talking about the disposal income. And if a product that you're selling is something which is not a must to have thing for them, and what is a must to have thing for them depends on who they are. But if you're selling something which is not must to have, the probability of they shelling out the money, even if they have money in their pocket, is very, very low. All right. Let me explain what I'm saying. In your understanding, you can say if somebody is making 1 lakh rupees in a month, this person has a decent amount of money to spend on a product like yours. But if this person lives in a city like Delhi or Bangalore or Dubai for that matter, like it's impossible in Dubai, but let's take for an example, and has a family of two kids, and both of them are going to school, and has recently moved to the city, bought a new house, bought a car, both of them are on a lease. The disposal income this person has is absolutely zero. Maybe, most probably, this person is living on borrowed money. Now, you can think, oh, 12 lakh rupees package a year is a good customer for me. No, it's a terrible customer because they don't have anything. But if you're selling something which is the most important need at the moment for them, for example, something to do with their kids' education, that is the percentage of the disposal income you can take from them. That is the right kind of customer for you. You understanding what I'm saying? So that is the kind of understanding that everybody should have. On the contrary, if the same person lives in a tier two city and does not have any kids, maybe not married yet, the disposal income of the same person, even with the 1 lakh rupees monthly salary, is decent enough, right? You can sell it to them. But now the question comes in, what is the product that you're giving? I've seen young people do not spend $1,000 on a skill building program, but the same young people spend 4,000, 5,000 on having a party with their friends, going on a trip, buying, watching Netflix subscriptions, going for movies, eating out, buying a phone of 1,50,000 rupees on EMIs. Right. So you might be thinking, oh, you know what? The young people with a lot of money coming from the affluent families, they should be my customer. They should be buying my training programs. No, they cannot buy your training programs because this is not their priority. Their daddy has paid 10 lakh rupees to a good college or 20 lakh rupees to a good college, but any counselor promised them that just pay this money to us and we'll take care of the job and everything. You don't need anything. You don't need any skills. You don't need any internship or whatever. So this kid now goes into this college, money paid by the daddy, and they want to have fun and enjoy. They don't want to spend anything else on that list of the services that you're talking about. It's a kind of a very different thing that you need to understand. Enough of examples around this thing. Let's move on to businesses. So, people having money in their pocket is the most important thing. Okay, that's number one. Now, how do you find out people who have money in their pockets? And what is the simplest and easiest thing to do? There is a thumb rule. If somebody is working on a CXO position, aged around, let's say, 35, and lives and then works in MNCs, generally their package, annual package, is going to be at least 30, 40, 50, 50 lakh rupees, whatever. That is about 4 lakh, 5 lakh rupee monthly salary, right? Now that's not universally true, but generally it is true. So what if you can reach out to the CXOs of MNCs in metros? Would that be a good thing for you? Super. And I'm talking about individuals at the moment. I'll talk about the B2B businesses separately, but this is a very simple rule of, thumb rule. So, what platform is there wherein you can find out people based on their designation, based on the companies that they are working with, and the locations that they are in? LinkedIn. This is the only platform wherein people actually update their designation, the companies that they're working with, and the locations that they are in. And LinkedIn also verifies it. We don't do that on Instagram. We don't do that on Facebook. We don't do that on Google or anything else. So no platform, no data has this information specifically and realistically and latest. So LinkedIn, right? Uh, you can run ads on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram if you have money. But even these platforms do not have specific information about their work profiles. So LinkedIn becomes your gold mine. All you have to do now is find out these people. There's a tool called Sales Navigator in LinkedIn, and you can use that, and you can use these filters, and it'll give you the list. It'll also give you the list of the people who are active on LinkedIn. They've been posting, they've been recently promoted, they have moved from one job to another recently, and you can have that list of people. Now, obviously, the next parts are just bombard them with mails and messages, right? No, obviously not. Just because you can access to somebody doesn't mean that you're going to have their money, right? You have to build trust and relationships. You have to tell them that you're good enough. You have to earn that respect. So I'm going to talk about that, but this is the most important part, which you should be very, very clearly understanding. And it is easy. I've been talking about this since 2019, and I started with zero followers, probably 3 or 4 thousand at that time. I used to conduct a lot of workshops, and I quickly grew my profile to 254,000 followers. Okay, multiple brands that we build, we have solid follower base on LinkedIn and other platforms as well on the company pages I'm talking about. And then we ended up serving 300 clients in the same problem, where we help them build a better brand, find out right clients, engage with them, build relationships, and convert those leads also. So end to end, right? If revenue was your problem, we've been working with you, and we would find out your strategy, and we'll find out the right customers. We'll build relationships, engage with them, bring them into your funnel, and then my sales team talks to them, proposes, understands, follow ups, and close the deals for you. So end to end revenue generation. If that is something that you want to understand, you can let me know in the comments or send me a DM. One of my team members will get in touch with you. We'll have a consultation with you, which is going to be free of cost, because what exactly is your problem? What exactly are your stage that you're in, and what exactly is the solution that you need? It would need for us to understand in detail what exactly are you doing. So that's a separate thing. Now that is the first and the most important part. Now LinkedIn is free, right? And Sales Navigator, if you do not have it, is free for 1 month. Uh, and then if even if you want to spend some money on it, you can do that in somewhere around 8,000 or 7,000 rupees a month. So that is one part. Now coming to the B2B businesses. Okay, now B2B businesses can also do the same thing, right? You need to find out first, not the people, but the companies that you want to work with. So let's say you have a SaaS software which helps HR professionals, or project management, or fintech, or whatever. Okay. So, and you want to target the companies who are based out of the United States, or Gulf, or somewhere else. So find out the companies. It's called Accounts in Sales Navigator. Find out these companies, go to the Sales Navigator filter, and you can search companies based on two things: revenue they're making, and the signal is available on LinkedIn, and the number of employees that they have. Generally, if a company has larger number of employees, they are making more money. It's obvious, isn't it? Right? So search for those companies, it'll give you a list. Now, inside those companies, if you want to filter that, I want to first go for companies based out from Singapore, Malaysia, or maybe UAE, and then Gulf and other countries, or maybe Europe and America, you filter the geography. So size of the company in terms of the revenue and the number of employees. The second thing is the location of the company. And this is a very important question, because if your product, the sales process involves a physical demonstration, generally it is better to have a company that you can do a sales demonstration, right? The second thing, after you got the company filter right, you want to understand uh, inside those companies, who are the decision makers and who are the decision influencers. And these are two very different people. Now, decision influencers, most often than not, are the people who will actually use your product. Let me give you an example. If your product solves the problem of HR managers, you know, in hiring and recruiting and managing their teams, it gives them some tools to improve their productivity. They are the end users of the software. But will they be writing the checks? No. The checks will be written by, if it's a small company, by the CEO or the owner of the company. If it's a large company, or maybe the director of HR, or chief HR officer. Right? That's how it happens. So these are the people who are decision makers. But these decision makers do not take the decision unless the decision influencers, the end users, actually ask for it or recommend something to them. So this is a big mistake that I've seen people making on LinkedIn and in reaching out and building that relationship with people, is that they go for one or two or three people. They do not go for all of them. And the messaging, of course, the what you talk to them will be different based on who you're talking to. So let's say if you talk to that vice president of HR, pitch would be how your software can save over a period of time, can increase the data security, or can improve the productivity. These are, the problems of a VPHR or a CHRO or CEO of a company. But when you're talking to the end users, it is the ease of usage, the UI UX, right? Those kind of things, which makes their job easier, faster, and more fun to do. Okay. So the content that your marketing team then has to produce, or you have to produce, or the sales pitch that you have to produce will be depending on who you're talking to. This will also be deciding what DMs you're going to send them, what emails you're going to send them. So that message and user mismatch is essentially a problem of you not being very clear in a written form of who are your decision makers, who are your decision influencers. There is another angle that we must understand about who are the right people and how to engage with them, is that generally in a B2B environment, a decision is not done by one person. Now, I, as a CHRO, may be recommending a software to the company that we want to buy it, but then the CFO comes in and says we don't have budget for this kind of investment. So if CFO is not on board, it generally is a problem. Okay, so what I've seen in are working with H&I kind of, or better or high stakes clients or B2B clients, that it is generally a combination of 4 to 5 people inside a company who become the decision makers and decision influencers. And if you want to close the deals, you want to engage all of them, influence all of them, and put them into your funnel and have separate funnels so that you can keep communicating with them. So that is the critical part of who are the right ICPs, ideal customer profiles, and how to engage with them. So let me remind you, let me repeat once again. So in case you missed something, in case you've not taken notes, this is what you do. Find out the companies based on the revenue that they're making, size of the company, number of employees, revenue. Second, the locations that they're set in, and then industries that they come from. Because different companies from different industries have different problems. You have to be clear that my solution serves those industries. And if you're a wealth management advisor or you're an investment advisor, you got to be understanding that if you talk to somebody whose industry and the nature of work you understand, it's easy for you to talk to them. It's easy for you to have references also. Okay, you can't jump into a new industry all of a sudden. So that is one. And then inside that company, you got to find out the designations of the people who are your decision makers and decision influencers, exact designations and their departments. Once you understood that, now comes in how to approach them. Now, please do not think that just because you can reach out people on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on databases and everything, that it means that they'll buy. Okay, they do not buy. And I want you to understand this very clearly. A few years back, how Gartner did a research, and multiple other organizations also did research. And I'm going to quote that specific research from Gartner, which says that in a B2B decision making environment, from the day a B2B buyer or high net worth buyer decides to buy something, they first think that they have a problem and they want to solve it. From that day to the day they actually make a buying decision, when they're writing a check to you or somebody, it takes on an average 18, that is 1/8, touch points from the seller. 1/8 on an average. And this number is increasing. Guess what this number was about a decade back? It was 4. And this is happening because the information overflow that everybody is bombarded, whether they are corporate executives, they are individuals, they are HNIs, they are wealthy people, all of them are bombarded with the information very, very rapidly. And the chances of they remembering you is almost negligible. So, A, you have to be different and unique. B, you have to be very specific to their problem, their life, their challenges. If you do not talk to their mind and their heart by using the words, using the examples, you are irrelevant. And C, you have to be consistent and you have to put a lot of efforts. 5, 6, 10 engagements are not enough. Okay, and that's where the sales cycles, which are 1 month to 2 months to 6 months, they are reduced. That's a critical thing. And I'm sorry, this is how it is happening. What it also says, the report also says that the influence on the buying decision is no longer with the salesperson. It's no longer with the companies. What I mean to say, or what this report is saying, that the way people used to take a buying decision earlier, about a decade, 15 years back, is that they would realize they have a problem. They would ask for companies or solution providers to submit their proposals. They would validate, check all of them, and they will take a decision and they will buy. That's how it would happen. But whatever the proposal that they are reading or the company website or the references they're checking is coming from the company itself. So what the salesperson says, what is the nature of relationship and everything, what the company is talking about, the website is saying on all of those things influence the decision. No longer that is happening. What is happening is that if I'm that buyer, let's say an investor for wealth management advisors or consultants, or let's say for a B2B people, if I'm that CXO who probably is going to buy your software, what I'm going to do when I realize a problem, I go to Google, I search about my problem and the causes of the problem and the symptoms of the problem. Hell, this is a basic fundamental shift in the nature which has happened. Now, let me ask you a question, and you want to answer this, you should be answering it. If you have a problem, a physical problem as an individual, let's say, you have a stomach ache or heartache or headache or whatever, constipation, etc. Uh, do you pick up the call and talk to your doctor immediately? Or you first try to ask Google, and not even Google now, maybe Gemini or GPT, I'm facing these symptoms, so what might be the causes? Answer me in the comments. Tell me. Before you go to a doctor, do you consult Google, ChatGPT, or Gemini? We do, right? That is what people are doing. So this is the same thing that is happening in a B2B buying or any buying for that matter. All HNIs, everybody first wants to gather some basic knowledge about the symptoms that they have, the problem that they have, the causes of the problem that they have. Why? Because that information that they're gathering allows them this allows them to ask intelligent and better and relevant questions to the service provider. That can be a consultant, that can be a doctor, that can be a salesperson, that can be anybody. Now, that's a fundamental shift that has happened. Nobody wants to be sold, everybody wants to buy. And when people want to buy, they want to take decision based on their knowledge, their understanding. And that is why they want information, they want knowledge, which should be coming from third party, unbiased, non sales people. Okay, now that is first step. Even after the buyer first now have done Google, understood, approached you, got in touch with you, asked for a proposal, you gave a page, you send a proposal, they say, I'm going to think about it. I'm going to let you know. I'm going to consult some people or I'll think of it and whatever, whatever. What do you think they do after they receive a proposal from you, after they receive a sales pitch from you? They go to Google, they go to ChatGPT, they go to your website or whatever, or your social media pages, and they search about you. They verify your claims. Earlier, 15 years back, this was not possible. So they, when they verify, they think and they ask about you, what internet tells them decides whether they're going to come back to you and believe what you said and buy your services, or they're going to ghost you. That tells them. So what is the internet talking about? You as a company, you as a person, you as a salesperson is important for the leads to come into you, but it is also important for the leads to convert for you. The study that I was quoting from Gartner says that about 67% of the decision making in a B2B buying environment, the 67% of the decision making has already happened even before the buyer gets in touch with the salesperson. So you may be hiring a lot of salespeople and you're calling all of those guys even before your salesperson talks to that buyer. One third of the decision, three-fourths of the decision, 30, maybe 70% approximately, has already been made based on what the internet says, what the relationship. So I have a favorite saying in this whole thing, and it has worked for me, it has worked for the clients that we work with. I say that your ideal customer must have heard good things about you, good things about you, even before your salesperson talks to them, before you talk to them, before your sales team talks to them. They should have heard good things about you. And that's what branding in today's world. That's what I call branding. And my favorite say is just like this is what we do at Brand Samosa. In fact, we say that we do branding that sells. Okay, that's perception that people have about you, that familiarity that they have about you. That is the soft corner, that is the trust that they have with you. That helps them buy your product and that helps you sell whatever you're selling. This was not so important in earlier days, but this is extremely critical, very, very important in nowadays because this is what the world that you are living in. And it is sad, in fact, that most of the consultants that I know and see, I can open up your LinkedIn right now and I can tell you that it is not talking to me as a buyer. It's not telling me what you can do for me. Mostly it says who you are, what you have done in past, and I don't care about it. If you want to grab my attention, you tell me what you can do for me, what's in my benefit. Why should I even give you my 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you're asking me? How good you are, how awesome you are, that is a question I will ask if I'm interested, if I find you relevant. And that is reference or credibility. That's a very secondary question. The the job or the purpose of your LinkedIn account or your profiles is not to answer those questions. It is to only grab attention, bring that person to you so that you have an opportunity to explain them about what you can do and what you cannot do. And this is probably the most important part that you can take from this entire training today that we are conducting. If you want to pick up one thing and pack your bags and go, tell yourself that whenever they interact with me or with my brand, online, offline, me, anybody, if I cannot explain them in first 30 seconds what their life is going to be after they work with me or after they buy my service or product, then I will not have any chance to be able to get their money. You have to do that. And that's a shift in your language. I've done another video on it very, very long back. I'm going to be sharing that link if you want it. It's going to be on my YouTube channel, anyways. And you guys must watch that. Okay. It is about 30-40 minutes. And I've dissected exactly the statements that you need to use, the language that you need to use. I've taken multiple examples from live audience questions. And that is what you need to do. Okay. So coming back, and we are approaching the end of this discussion, this training today. If you have questions, let me know in the comments, and I'll be very happy to address those specific questions for you. You're watching me on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and yeah, that's it, I think. Cool. So summary of what we've just talked about. First and the most important part, define what is a right customer for you. And a right customer or a right client for you is going to be the one who has money in the pocket, most important. And the money that they can spend, that they are willing to spend, okay, that's a very critical part. If they don't have the money in their pocket, and if they cannot spend that money, then there is no way for you to have that money, no matter what your product is, no matter how good you are. All right, that's the most important part. Now, the second question is where to find that person. Now, LinkedIn, in most of the cases, if you're going for H&I clients, you're a consultant, you're an advisor, you want to have H&I clients, so people who have their money. I think LinkedIn is the best thing for you. LinkedIn is gold mine for you, and it's free at the moment. If you are a B2B company and you want to sell something to B2B as a service or product or anything, LinkedIn is a gold mine for you. Okay, so that platform. Now, to do what on that platform? First and the most important, you find out the right people that you want to impress. Do not go for everybody. Do not waste your time and energies. Do not start creating content. Don't do anything. Find out the right people that you want to engage with. And how do you do that? Use a sales tool called Sales Navigator. First month is free. After that, it's 8,000 rupees, and it's absolutely worth every penny. Then you find out the people based on the company's size of the company, the revenue, and the number of employees that they are generating, and then industries these companies are from. Then inside those companies, when you think that okay, it's a large company, they're paying their well, they have 10,000. They are based out of India, they are based out of Mumbai or maybe Dubai or whatever, D2C or whatever you want to get in touch with. You know that a CXO, vice president above in that company, you are going after, and you can do a little GPT or Google research that okay, this kind of company, what is the average salary package of their vice presidents, right? It's easy. Then you find out the designations in these are called account filters, the companies, and then the people is called the lead filters. So you can go there and you can find out the designations and departments of these people. Keep it vice president above, director above. Now you have the list of these people. Okay, in every company your goal should be to find out the decision makers and decision influencers, and generally in every company you would have a list of 4 to 5 people who are either the decision makers or the decision influencers. Now, based on the use case that they have in their life, the problem that they have in their life, their day-to-day jobs, your communication strategy will be built. So what exactly to tell them, what to tell them in their direct messages, what to tell them in the emails, what to tell them on a phone call. It depends on what is the job, what is the problem, what is the goal that they have. And you can ask them, or you can do a hypothetic research. You can write it down for yourself. You can ask GPT or Gemini that these are the people. Tell me what is their job looks like. Tell me their 3 biggest problems. Tell me their biggest challenges and what they struggle with every day. It gives you answer, right? Now, what your job is very simple is to write messages to talk about those issues and tell them how you can help them. That's a very different. So content marketing, content strategy is a very different discussion. If you want that, I can have another separate discussion on it. One, it's going to be very detailed. Well, I think I should do that. Hmm. Yeah, I think I should do that. All right, I will do that. What content, how to write, how to engage. I'm going to do a separate session on that. Now, you know who are the people. After that, it's only you talking to them. How do you do that? First step, do not send them personal messages. LinkedIn has a limit. It will block you. These guys do not respond to unsolicited. It's very different. You have to understand that if you're going for somebody who is higher up in a corporate hierarchy, somebody who's coveted, wanted by everybody, these people do not respond to everybody. Okay. And you have to build that relationship. First and the easiest part, find out the comments that they made or the post that they're sharing. Like and comment, like and comment, like and comment. Do that every day for 1 hour, 2 hour. This is the most important thing that you can do. This is you promoting, this is you building relationships. And every CEO of every business, every sales head of a business, every marketing head of a business, this should be your 50% job at least. Like absolutely, absolutely. Do this first thing in the day. There's nothing else more important than you, than this to you. I don't know what everything else you do, but this is the most important because this is where you're building the relationships. You're putting yourself in front of the people who you want to attract. Okay. So you're not responding passively to anybody and everybody who's coming to you, the desperate customers. You're going after the ones that you want to go after. And this is where your focus should be. At least 50% of time and energy should be into that. Once you do that, we comment and like and share, start sending them DMs, start sending them connection messages. They can be a sequence. I have a full template for specific target audience for specific solutions that you have. We can share that with you, no problems. All right. So that is, I think, more or less what I wanted to talk about today. Our objective was how to attract better playing, better paying clients and how to build a better brand in front of them. So we've understood what a better client or a high paid client is. Why is it important for you to focus on these people rather than responding and being in a loop, which is dangerous for your business? As I explained in the beginning of this video, you can, you know, reverse it, go to the beginning and listen to the first 10, 15 minutes. We've had a discussion detailed on that one. So uh, that's what you're going to do to find out these people, engage with them, build relationships with them. And if you do that consistently in a right way, the people that you want to have would have heard your name in a right way even before they become your customer. But that is called branding. That would take content and that would take content distribution. Okay. So how to create that content, written form, maybe videos, live session, the way I'm doing, or written articles or blogs, and there's something called lead magnet, how to actually make them give their numbers, their emails to you, how to create those lead magnets, how to nurture them, which is, remember, I said 18 touch points because you will talk to somebody, they're not going to open up their wallets from the first day, they're going to take some time. So how to stay engaged with them, how to keep retargeting them using ads, content, LinkedIn, a lot of automation, in fact. I'm going to have a separate session on that. If you want to be part of it, leave a comment somewhere, join one of the communities that we run, or follow my YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Okay, you'll have an update on it. I'm going to take a couple of questions and then we'll be off today. I know it is Monday. All of you have been working, but this is important, right? This is what makes you money. And this is where the business die or grows. So if you have any more questions, let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to address. I have one question. Somebody is asking, hello, if someone needs to work as a content marketer without any portfolio and needs clients as a freelancer, what should be the roadmap? I have explained the roadmap in the discussion today, but if you do not have any client or any portfolio at the moment, the first and the most important job that you should be having is to build a portfolio. Okay. And what has to happen is that you approach the kind of people that you want to work with. And trust me, this is what I've explained in the first 15 minutes of this video. Once this is posted, you can go back and check that. Find out the right people. If you do not find out the right people, even if you work with the wrong people, they will not give you references. They will not be part of your portfolio. They take a lot of time. They'll suck the energy out of you. And of course, they don't pay. Okay. So there's no point in working. So find out the right people. Approach them the way I just explained. It is best to approach them on LinkedIn because professionals are on LinkedIn. The companies are on LinkedIn. And this is where they do business. This is where they absolutely spend their time. Do not waste your time on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere else. I've seen a lot of freelancers who does content, video editing, and that kind of work, and they create good content and they focus so much on Instagram. Look, Instagram has a younger audience, and the attention span is very, very low, like 3 seconds. You cannot really impress somebody in 3 seconds. You can entertain them, but you cannot impress. And your job, if you want to have a business, It will come based on the impression, the ability of you to influence them in a decision making. And that is not entertaining. Okay. So do not do that. The important part is find them on LinkedIn, because in mind also people who are on LinkedIn, the same guy who is on Instagram, I have an Instagram, right? If I'm on Instagram, I'm just scrolling, seeing what is happy and fun and memes and everything. I'm not thinking business at that time. But when I'm on LinkedIn, I'm thinking business. So if I get a DM on LinkedIn, I take it seriously. I respond it seriously. But if I get the DM on Instagram or Facebook, it generally is not that important for me, and I do not respond to that easily. So please understand the psyche of your potential customer also. And after that, if you're talking to the right people, your job is to understand their problem and how you can solve those problems in the right way. And do not worry about the money. First, maybe a couple of clients, if you have to do something for free, you can simply talk to them. Look, I'm not going to charge you, or I'm just going to charge you 50% now. I deliver, you pay me the money later on. Or if you want to build a portfolio, you can simply say, hey, I'm going to do it for you free of cost, not money. But if you like it, you promise that you will refer three of your friends to me or two of your friends to me. Fair deal. If somebody talks to me this, like, I'm going to do a couple of things for you, and I'm a newbie, I'm trying to build my brand, and if you like my work, can you recommend me to two or three people? And if I can give that in writing to you, like not a sign up, agreement or something, but if I can write in a message, or so that I'm more serious, so that I've made a commitment. And if you do good work for me, and if I like it, I'm morally obligated to recommend two or three of my networks to you. And because I'm an influential person myself, I have a position, I have a designation. If I recommend one of my network, they will be 70-80% closed already. Okay, so my recommendation uh, has a lot of weight, and that is also, I say that it is always very important for all of the people to go after uh, serious clients who pay better, because the serious clients who pay better, the wealthy ones, the more influential ones, not only pay better by themselves, their network also is very influential, and they have a lot of weight in their network. Okay, they are taken seriously, so their references are better. And once you crack into that network, it becomes easier and easier. You will be keep on making more money more frequently, and life will be very, very easy for you after that. It's just that it's the beginning, and you have to be patient, you have to be very strategic and targeted. I've explained the entire strategy in this video today. It's about almost an hour now, and I hope that you got a lot of value out of it. Please. So I can completely, okay, so the same guy, this is an interesting question. Let me just say, so I can completely understand that I should build trust to do free gigs, but when if we don't have any capital for free content, it's stuff. I just got confused with niches all the time and get fed up. No, you don't have to, create content for free. You have to work for somebody, not charging them money upfront. You're asking to be paid in a different currency. Okay, please understand that cash transfer into your bank account is not the only currency. Answer this question for me. If I tell three of my friends, when I have 254,000 LinkedIn followers, I've built multiple ventures, people trust me, I talk to them, we've been together, we do business together. If I tell them in a closed room when we are having drinks together, if I tell them, hey, you know what, there's this guy, I don't know what's his name, but there's this guy, and he did some cool stuff for me, I think you should check him out. Tell me, with this person, my friend, will take you more seriously? Absolutely, yes. And if that happens, if I give you three people like that, the law of average, and if you're really good, you will convert one of those as a paid assignment. And that is what I'm suggesting. Okay. So, no, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to, there's no money that you have to spend to find out people on LinkedIn, like and comment their content, send them a message. It doesn't cost money. You already have internet, you already have phone, and you have already have some of the cases, some of the money, right? I posted something, a very small clip today on YouTube and other platforms. So it says that people often complain about they lack resources. And I tell them, lack of resources is not your problem. Lack of resourcefulness is your problem. And resourcefulness is the ability using which you can find out resources. Resources like money, people to work with you, offices, funding, anything. Resources can be generated if you know how to find those resources. And that ability is called resourcefulness. You need that, and that is possible. I wish you all the best. I'll be back maybe, I think, on Wednesday or something. In the meantime, if you have any questions, let me know. I hope this session was useful. I wish you all the very best. Bye bye. Take care.